When I did this movie, it's called The Voice of Hind Rajab, and I had the intention and the desire to make her voice echo everywhere.
After the film gets over and the credits begin to roll, there's silence for many minutes before people begin to leave their seats.
So all the glamorous side, it's not my purpose, and it's the least joyful part of my work. But I know that we live in a world people can hear about this movie and maybe have the desire to watch it.
Hi, Kaouther, it's really nice to see you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Congratulations on all the conversations around this film that are going on right now. The Voice of Hind Rajab was arguably one of the most important films I've seen this year. It definitely was one of my top films at TIFF. You're campaigning for an Oscar right now as the Tunisian official entry. It's fair to assume that award recognition is not the reason why this film exists, obviously. But what are your thoughts on the glamour of the award season versus the real tragedy that this film is talking about, a tragedy that is very much ongoing?
This is a very good question. My thoughts are simple. When I did this movie, it's called The Voice of Hind Rajab, and I had the intention and the desire to make her voice echo everywhere. And when you are, like me, a filmmaker doing movies in Arabic with subtitles, it's a very niche thing, You have only people who are interested in our kind of cinema that can watch those movies. So when I did The Voice of Hind Rajab, my desire was to make her voice echo outside of the circle of people interested by our movies. And how you make this in this world where the dominant culture is the English speaking movies with star, which is not the case of my movie. You go through a number of labels, which are Venice Film Festival, which was the beginning, We got an incredible reaction, which put The Voice of Hind Rajab under spot. And then, for example, I'm right now in the United States of America, and my desire is that regular American watch this movie, and how you make them like interested by our kind of movie. Try to have a nomination. You battle for, so all the glamorous side, as you said, it's not my purpose, and it's the least joyful part of my work. But I know that we live in a world people can hear about this movie and maybe have the desire to watch it. I should be there.
I'm from India, so there's this big debate happening in India as well right now about the line between real and fiction, especially when it is a subject like this. You use original audio recordings from a real event. How do you square that away, towing that line between what you can fictionalize and what you can keep real, and how to keep that authentic to the people you're also representing in the film?
There is always behind a formal choice an intention. So when I decided to took actors to reenact what happened, I knew that this decision is a risky bit, because people confuse in their mind actor with fiction, which is not the case here. It's not fictional what I'm saying, and I know that I don't have the time to educate audience in the movie. Why I needed actors? Because I needed to tell this story in the present tense, to go back to this moment when saving Hind Rajab was possible, and to show all the mechanism, And for this, you need reconstruction. I'll call it reconstruction, not fiction, based on the testimony of the real character. By making this choice, I knew that the impact will be greater, let's say, than the documentary talking about an event in the past. But also, I wanted to remind the audience that they are watching actors, and this is really happening. So that's why during the movie you have moment where the actors stop acting and they are listening to the real character until this tipping point when the unthinkable happened, which is the bombing of the ambulance going to save this little girl. And this moment, because it's beyond imagination, beyond cruelty, I needed to go back to archival elements. So that's why we see in this phone scene the real character dealing with this moment. So all those choices are conscious choices, but I think that cinema can offer great tools, to tell those stories in most impactful way if we get rid of the bigotry, of separation of documentary. It's about purity and fiction is about lie. No, there's something beyond, genre that cinema can offer us, and it gave me those incredible tool to tell this story in the most impactful way.
What was the fact checking process like? How long did that take? How many people were involved in doing that stuff? Because I imagine it was rigorous.
Yeah, it was very rigorous because I knew that this movie will be scrutinized more than any other movie. Before doing this movie, there was a great work of investigation, investigative journalism done around the killing, this crime. You have Washington Post; they did a great piece. Forensic architect, they analyzed the sound, the satellite image. So all this work was very important for me, so I can move forward and tell the story from an emotional side, no, not factual, because the story was already anchored in truth. And I had the recording. This is the archival piece. Everything, in the recording is in the movie. What happened in the office around the recording, I took it from the witness, from the testimony of the real character with whom I talked a lot. They helped me a lot to know what happened that day. So yes, the work around all the event in the movie was very, very rigorous.
Well, thank you for your time today, Kaouther, and I wish you luck. I hope this film reaches many, many, many more people, millions of more people. It's very important, and I'm sure you've heard this from so many people who watch this film that after the film gets over and the credits begin to roll, there's silence for many minutes before people begin to leave their seats. That is the impact you've had with The Voice of Hind Rajab, and thank you for telling this story.
Thank you very much.
Bye,
Bye.
Kaouther.